Hi guys, Dave Wilson here again. Now, over the years, Tronex have built their reputation largely upon the wire cutters and the fine precise cutting tools that they make. But did you know they also make a pair of big chunky ones as well? Now, I was told about these from a lady over at Tronex, and she says to me, Dave, you're gonna love these. And you know what? She was right, I do. Let me show you why. Follow me. So here we have the Tronex 7812 round head wire cutters. And the first thing that you'll notice is the size of them. They really are quite a solid chunky piece. And you can see here on the tape measure these are about 6 inches or 15 centimeters long. So although they're described as Series 7, they really are quite a unique size. And likewise, if I take the cap off the end here, you can see the head and the jaws, and again you can see they're really quite chunky and solidly made. These really are a big heavy pair of wire cutters. Now if I put them in my hands here, you can get an idea of the scale of them. Bearing in mind I've got very big hands. So you can see the size of them. They're about the size of your standard DIY kind of wire cutters, you know, kind of things that you might have in your toolbox at home or in the trunk of your car or in the garden shed. So they really are a nice good size. Flip them over, just have a little look at them there, and really comfortable to wear in your hands. So let's zoom in, let's take a closer look at them. Now the first thing that you're going to notice is the lap joint here and this small black metal spring. This really is quite unique within the Tronex range, and again they really are different to the rest. You'll see the small black metal clip here, and the reason for that is that Tronex have incorporated return springs. Now because of the size of these, they're too big to use the conventional leaf springs that you see on the rest of the Tronex pliers. So with these cutters, they've inserted the spring actually into the jaws of the cutters themselves, and this is very rare because most wire cutters that you get of this size, they don't have return springs on. So in order to prevent that spring from falling out and losing it, this clip restricts the opening, so it stops the jaws from opening completely and the spring falling out and losing that. So by this clever system of the internal spring and the retaining clip, what Tronex have given you here is a pair of large industrial size wire cutters but with a return spring, which is very rare. So this means you can hold them in your hand, get a proper grip on them, and really apply that force where it's needed to be. You can use them all day long and they are comfortable and nice in your hands to use. So if we flip them round sideways, you can see here how thick that lap joint is. So it's very strong and solid. It really is going nowhere. Very solidly made. Once again, the familiar Tronex handles with the 2-part cushion design. Nice and comfortable, really nice on your hands. ASD safe, of course, if you're working with sensitive components, perhaps in a service industry. Now if we look back at the head again, you might have noticed this very sharp angle of the cutting surface, and this is really important, and this really adds a lot of usability to it. Now to demonstrate this, I've got a piece of wood here with 2 pieces of wire just inserted into it. Now this could represent anything. It could be an earring post on the back of an earring, or it could be the legs of a component poking through a circuit board that you've just soldered. Whatever. The point is, if you need to cut a piece of wire flush to a surface, if you're using traditional wire cutters, it can often be difficult to get close in because of the angle of the jaws. So you can see here, because of the jaws and the thickness of the handle there, it's difficult to get flush. So the only option you have is to cut at a slight angle. And what that means is you can't get a perfectly flush cut and you can't get very close down to the surface. On the other hand, you can see here with the Tronex cutters, because of the angle of the head, I can lay the cutting surface completely flush with the surface that I'm cutting to. And as you can see, there's lots of space around the handles and the jaws for me to move my fingers and operate the tool properly. And as you can see here, when I cut, I actually get a perfectly flush cut, and I can even go back and I can even snip the bit off the other wire, which the other wire cutters couldn't do. Once again, here you can see perfectly smooth, flush cut, level with the surface. So that is only achieved by having that acute angle on the edge of the tips. Now, I'm sure you'll agree that by most standards, Tronex cutters produce a very clean, flush cut. But Tronex describe their cutters in 3 varieties: semi-flush, razor flush and flush. And these particular ones they refer to as flush cutters. Now, what you've got to understand here is when Tronex say flush cut, they really do mean a flush cut. You cut a piece of wire with these, it needs no finishing at all. Now, in order to demonstrate this, I've got 2 pieces of wire here, and I'm going to cut one with a pair of regular household wire cutters of a similar size, and I'm going to cut another piece of wire with the Tronex cutters here. And you can see I've got 2 pieces of wire there. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put these under a digital microscope and let you see the ends, and hopefully you can see what Tronex actually mean by flush cut. So let's get it under the microscope, take a look. Now, here we can see the 2 wires here that I've cut. Now, the one at the bottom there is the one that was cut with the regular domestic wire cutters, and you can see the kind of chiseled end there, how the wire's been pinched. And so imagine if this is gold, you would have to file that and you would lose quite a considerable amount. If you were using, say, 2-3mm wire, 18 carat, that could represent quite a cost filing that down to get back to good wire. On the other hand, if you look at this wire at the top, this is done with the Tronex cutters that we're demonstrating here. You can see the tip is perfectly straight, perfectly flush, and at 90 degrees to the wire, and that needs little or no finishing whatsoever. So the point is, whereas with this wire you would have to file quite a bit off to get back to a straight edge, with the Tronex cut here, the flush cut, you can cut that exactly where it needs to be and you're not losing any of your precious metal at all. So hopefully you can see the difference there. This is 40 times magnification. So hopefully you can see why Tronex were right. I do love these cutters. They're a large pair of decent sized everyday cutters with a nice cutting head, good strong handles, comfortable, good leverage. You've got the return springs on it, which is very rare, and you've got some of the cleanest, smooth, flush cutting plies that you're ever going to get on the market. So there you go, the Tronex 7812 flush cutters. I've been Dave Wilson. Thank you very much for watching. See you on the next video. Bye for now.